Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is the BRICS may go ahead and kill the dollar now. Now, we know that starting January 1, it goes live. A gold-backed currency by these 6 nations with 41 other nations now joining them. And so it's pretty much set that starting January 1 of 2024, the dollar is about to start falling. But information I'm going to bring you today is even more scary because they're saying that they might just go ahead and do it now. Now, before we get started, I encourage you to go over to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. If you have, a pretty good amount of money, and I don't know what that number is, you do. I mean, who can afford to lose what's in the bank? Probably nobody. But if you have money that's in the bank that you cannot afford to lose, then nature's way, God's way of preserving that has always been put it in gold and silver. Now, I can't give you any financial advice. I'm not a certified financial planner, but these guys are, and they can help you. CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. Give them a call and say, okay, here's my situation. Here's how much I got. What do you suggest? And just listen and then pray about it and do what you feel like the Lord is leading you to do. U.S. General admits global elite are planning a global financial crash. Now, I have to say, I probably go through 80 emails a day. Thank you very much for sending them to me. As a matter of fact, you make the program in most cases, so your emails are very important. But in scanning through the emails, matter of fact, this particular one, I read the topic and I thought, we covered that. And I was about to click delete. And the anointing touched me right on the top of the head saying, no, watch this one. There's been other cases where I'll be reading something and I'm thinking, boy, this is pretty good. I need to put this on the program. I get a big yawn. So I've learned that that's how God tells me yawn is no. When he touches me with the anointing, saying, pay attention to this one. He touched me on this one. So I paused, I read the whole thing, and now I see why, and I think you'll see why. I think that what this guy is saying is extremely important. A U.S. military official has blown the whistle on how banks across America are about to close. I know you're thinking, nah, that's not going to happen. Okay, if that's not going to happen, then why did the anointing touch me? Why was I directed to bring this on today? So apparently, God knows something we don't know. I'll read that again. A U.S. military official has blown the whistle on how banks across America are about to close, and the 2024 presidential election is never going to happen. It's going to be canceled. According to Colonel Douglas McGregor, the public needs to know that there will soon be a sudden. Okay, that's what, David Phillips saw that they told him to get up and walk out now. Jason Meeks saw that he put in his card, got $20 out of the ATM, put it in to get more, and all of a sudden everything had changed. The prophecies, the dreams that people have had, all say it does not happen gradually where you can plan. Instead, it happens instantly, meaning if you're one that said they're saying, I'll wait a bit longer. I'm going to risk. I'm going to leave my money in the bank. Then, good for you. I hope everything turns out. But that's not what the prophecies say. So if you have some extra money in paper, and Lindsey Williams says the elite say if it's in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on, and that includes stock market, IRAs, 401, all of that. It's all paper. It can all disappear very, very quickly. But if you have gold and silver in your house or stored securely someplace, you have a much better chance of surviving the problems that are coming. Let's go on. According to this guy, he said the public needs to know that there's soon going to be a sudden closure of all major banks in the U.S., orchestrated by the elite, which will last for up to 3 weeks. Now, I've heard this from people in high places that I can't talk about, and they're saying that they hope it's only 3 days. And I hope it's only 3 days, but probably it's more. The 2024 election would be canceled due to martial law being imposed by the Biden administration. Look, how many dreams, how many visions have we had where people have been shown martial law? Lots. The elite have got their ducks in a row, and they're ready to unleash hell on ordinary people to further the dystopian, that means really, really bad stuff, globalist agenda. I'm going to talk about that today. Before we dive in, let me just encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Click like, share, and subscribe. That way it sends it out to more people. We're also asking people to join Prophecy Club automatically, $9.90 a month, so that when the trouble hits, your Prophecy Club can still be around. The globalist elite are back to the article. Globalist elite are orchestrating a plot to crash the banking industry, leading to global financial meltdown. Nah, they wouldn't do that. Oh, yes, they would, and they will do that. They've been telling us they're going to be doing that for, I don't know, how long, at least 70 years? I'm going to show you. Sky, he lays it out real good. Why would they do this? Because their agenda is failing. The people are waking up, and they're getting increasingly desperate. And that's what Hal Turner says. That's what Benjamin Fulford says. So there's a lot of sources saying the same thing here. He says, what we're seeing is a push towards global government that is being camouflaged and cloaked in the stuff called humanitarianism, multiculturalism, as well as manufactured globalist wars, manufactured threats such as global warming, pandemics, condition the public into accepting a one world government. Okay. I know they've been talking about this world government for a long time. It's never going to happen. Not only does prophecy say it's going to happen, but it is God's will that it will happen, and He has told us such. Oh, really? Where? Well, just so it happens, I'm ready to show you. So you jump down here to Revelation 17:12. And the 10 horns, that's where they've divided the globe into 10 global regions. Each horn is a ruler, which thou sawest are 10 kings. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. In other words, I believe that they're going to turn out all of their nuclear weapons, all of the military over to the Antichrist. These shall make war with the Lamb. That's Armageddon. Okay, this is God's plan to gather the elite, to gather the evil people together in one spot, just as I read the other day, is like gathering prisoners into a pit. Okay, God is gathering them together to make their annihilation a little easier. Does that make sense? These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for He is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with Him are called and chosen and faithful. That's us, okay? Now here's the next part of it. For God has put in their hearts, in other words, God put in the hearts of these evil elite to form a world government. It's God's idea. God had put in the hearts to fulfill His will and to agree and to give the kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. It will happen. You will see a world government, I believe, in our lifetime. Let's go on with the article. For this to occur, the elite, he says, are planning to create a global financial crisis, the likes of which the world has never seen. They've been telling us this. Out of the ashes of this financial crisis will rise the phoenix of is a new international economic order. This is the symbol that they use, a phoenix out of ashes. The word is Ordo Ab Chao. So let me explain what you're looking at. This is one of their many designs. However, I want to show you something you probably haven't seen. Okay, so this Ordo Ab Chao. That means order out of chaos. What order? A new world order. Out of what chaos? A chaos they create. That's what he's saying here. He says that they're going to see here, right here, create a global financial crisis, the likes of which the world has never seen. So it's like the old saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So that's what they have to do. They have to break the entire world's financial system. But if you have gold or silver or something like that, you're in a much better position. And by the way, I know there's some people who say, yeah, but they're going to throw their gold and silver in the streets. Yeah, but that doesn't happen until Armageddon. Okay, so gold and silver is God's money. When I wrote the book, Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, God arranged to put 7 1-ounce gold coins in the mailbox at the Spirit of Prophecy Church and arranged for Leslie to find them And I think God was saying, okay, Stan, you really did memorize the book of Revelation. You really did write it into a book just like I asked you to do. So I'm going to pay for the printing of it. And he did. And by the way, he gave us like $125 more than what it took to actually print the book. In other words, God paid for the printing of the book. Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, prophecyclub.com. Now, let's go back to what he's saying here. All right, Ordo Ab Chao. So it says, order a new world order or a world government out of a chaos they create. Now, let me show you something. I've been doing little studies in Hebrew. See this symbol here? That is called a sheen. Now, in English, A doesn't mean anything. B doesn't mean anything. C doesn't mean anything. But in Hebrew, Aleph, Bet, Dalet, Gimel, all of those have meanings. Not only do they have that, but they have a tone, they have a number to each one of them, and they have a picture. Now, the picture for the sheen is teeth, okay? That's what the sheen means. So if you look at that, that kind of looks like teeth. Then this here is a, see, I need to study some more. I'm going to remember, though, a Zion. Now, a Zion is a picture of a, what do they call those? A skith. You know, where they swing it they cut the wheat. They swing it like that to cut. It's like a giant knife. So when they have a teeth and basically a giant knife in the center of their star, they're saying, we are going to destroy the old world order based upon the Bible, and we're going to bring in a new world order based upon the Antichrist. They've told us. Here's another. This is straight off of the front of the book of Morals and Dogma, written by Albert Pike, which is their God. And this is the phoenix, the two-headed phoenix. Down here it says Ordo Ab Chao, means a new world order out of a chaos they create. But I never seen this word here before. I hadn't looked it up, but I just looked it up, and it means, some say God is my light or God is my right. That's not correct. I believe it's saying light is my God, because, see, Lucifer is the light. Page 321 out of this book, Ordo Ab Chao, or out of this book, Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike. In other words, they think Lucifer is the light. No, Jesus is the light of the world. But again, that's what the Antichrist is. He comes in to replace Jesus. All right, let's go on. Back to the article. The elite. Now, I can't say those words right there. Those words right there is how come they deleted our channel before. I know it. Because I really know who's really behind them. So I can't say those words, but you can read them. The elite have been consolidating their wealth to protect it for centuries. The process of consolidation has accelerated dramatically in the recent years, with the global financial crisis in 2008 and the COVID pandemic allowing the elite to get richer, while the rest of us are made poor. He's exactly right. This is it. I mean, he's done a really good overview of where we are and where we're going. When the world financial system finally crashes, the elite will be positioned to buy what's left for pennies on the dollar. What did we see after Maui burned? I mean, it was not a matter of hours before the owners of that property were getting phone calls from all manner of people wanting to buy their land. And they were offering them pennies on the dollar. That's proof. What the guy's saying here, he's right. But sometimes it's so hard to believe. We don't want to believe this stuff, just like we want to believe there's a pre-trib rapture, but in our heart we know we're not. Okay, anyway. But what's left, to buy what's left for pennies on the dollar. Now, where does this leave the rest of the world financially? The answer is in bondage to a techno-communist world governmental system led by the World Economic Forum in Davos and the hidden hands that control the public face of that cabal. And by the way, this word here means of ball, which is one of the words right there, okay? One words I'm not supposed to say. If you pay attention, now you can see that everything is being engineered towards this goal. Now, I've been studying prophecy 40 years, teaching it for 30 years, and I've been hearing this for a long time. So if you haven't heard it, it's been around for a long time. Now let me show you what I'm talking about in the scriptures. Revelation 13:6. This is talking about the Antichrist. or the beast. The correct word is really the beast. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God. What is blasphemy? That means when we directly attack God. To blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given to him to make war with the saints. What? I'll read it again. Look carefully. It was given to him, in other words, the Antichrist, is given permission to make war against the saints. And the other scripture I didn't put on there says, and it was given him a mouth speaking great things. So what it's saying is God gives the Antichrist the ability to speak and say very, very bad things against him. Why? Because it's all a big test. And of course, if you're a pre-tribber, then you don't believe that God's going to do any tests. You get sucked out of here so you don't get tested, which is, of course, not correct. But anyway, it was given to him to make war with the saints. So, my brothers and sisters, you best get prepared for a big war. And I'm not talking about just bullets, because it says he's opened his mouth. It is a war, yes, of bullets, but it's a war of words. It was given to him to make war with the saints. Now, I really don't like this next part, but it's Bible. And to overcome them. And power was given him to continue 40 and 2 months. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle. Let's skip on down. It was given him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. And look at this. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. I'm glad it didn't stop there. Whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Meaning, if a person doesn't already have Jesus in their heart, by the time they see the Antichrist, the beast, they're probably not going to get it. Now, why I say that? You remember where it says, and I saw when he opened the third seal, I heard the voice say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a black horse. He that sat upon him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar saying, a measure of wheat for a penny. That's one. A measure of barley for, 3 measures of barley for a penny. That's 3. Now, wheat is the Christians or the Gentiles, and then the barley represents the Jews. That means that during this time, during the last 3.5 years of the tribulation, it's going to be 3 to 1. 3 Jews to every 1 Gentile will be saved. Meaning, if you have a loved one that you want to see in eternity with you, and they don't have Jesus in your heart, you best start saying, I'm willing to offend them. I'd rather have them offended at me. I'd rather lose their friendship now, but win their soul in the future. It's about time to start talking. In other words, look, I want to be friendly too, but it's time to start talking to them. Just like you ought to be sending this out to your friends, neighbors, relatives. They ought to see it. They might not like it. They might not like you. They might not talk to you anymore. Boo-hoo. What's more important, their soul in eternity or a bit of friendship? And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose name is not written in the Lamb's book of life, slain from the foundation. Now let's go back to the article. Over the past century, the general or the colonel says nation states have been forced into a massive debt by central banks to ensure that once this collapse begins, it will create a domino effect around the world. We are currently seeing a shift towards a cashless society, true, with the WEF infiltrated states like Australia leading the way. The globalist elite are also forcing their vassal states to move towards centralizing currency in the form of a so-called central bank digital currency, or CBDC, which, by the way, is not currency at all. It's actually software. Software designed as a tool to control you, to control all of us. That's what the devil wants. He wants to control us so that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. That's where we're going. It's easy to see why CBDCs appeal to the far-left authoritarians in Davos, because if they can cancel out your bank balance, did you hear that? If they can cancel out your bank balance, do you have some gold and silver? Have you gone to Joseph's Kitchen and got yourself some food? I know you can't eat gold and silver, but at the same time you pull up to get some gas and you pull out a loaf of bread, they might not take the loaf of bread, but they'll probably take a gold or a silver coin. Hopefully it's a silver coin, not a gold one. On the other hand, you can't stick 12 loaves in your backpack and expect that to last more than a week or two. In other words, there's a place for gold and silver, and there's a place for Joseph's Kitchen bread. Go to josephskitchen.com. josephskitchen.com. Go there, get yourself some food. If they can cancel out your bank balance with a single keystroke, and they can, then you have no freedom, no autonomy. You are a slave. True, we're slaves. We're slaves to the international bankers, the cabal. Slave to the system and completely beholden to the elite. And the elite are becoming so arrogant. Now they're even admitting their plans openly. And the fact is, it's all about social control. They want to control you. That's what they want to do. They control you. Just like they're buying up all kinds of businesses because they want control over them. The article goes on to say, in case you think this is a wild conspiracy theory, and that could never happen here, you should be aware that the elite are quietly and deceitfully making moves to centralize currency right now. You better listen. This guy knows what he's talking about. He centralized currency right now in the United States without any public discussion. For example, Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota caught them trying to change the definition of currency by burying it in fine print of a 100-page bill. She joined Tucker Carlson before he was canceled by the mainstream media to send a warning to us all that we need to wake up to the agenda and fast. Well, I appreciate Kristi Noem for finding that, and I'm very, very glad of it. But the problem is our real protector, our real high tower is supposed to be Jesus. So since America has walked away from Jesus, he's not protecting us like he used to. Instead, he's watching over us for evil, just like it says in Daniel chapter 7 or 11. Watched over them for evil to bring the evil upon them. Back to the article. The globalist elite are allowed to carry out their plan, if they are. And by the way, as I said, God allows it. If the globalist elite are allowed to carry out their plan within the next few years, most people will have lost their savings. That's the reason you want to have gold and silver. I mean, you can't store up bread. You can store up Joseph's Kitchen wheat, though. It comes in these plastic pails, and it's good for 25 years. So, I mean, it is God's famine food. They will own nothing. They will be forced to pretend to be happy because the elite will have total control over whatever paltry funds the public have been allocated by the techno-communist elite. Most of the world's major institutions were created with this goal in mind, from the United Nations to the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, institutes like Cato, Balfour, Brookings Institute, all of them. We know that there's some prophecies that are heading our way. 14 say the dollar is going to fall. Are you listening? CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. 14 say there's going to be a food shortage. JosephKitchen.com. 34 say suitcase nukes. We just got a new one, by the way. Chris Reed just saw them, suitcase nukes. 34 suitcase nukes. For that, we'll send you to EMPShield.com. 7 say surprise Russian nuclear attack. For that, we'll send you to God's Warnings to America at prophecyclub.com. So today, I'm really focusing on gold and silver. I encourage you to go to CornerstoneAssetMetals.com, CornerstoneAssetMetals.com, EMPShield.com, JosephKitchen.com. Get yourself prepared. European politician breaks very bad news about digital IDs and central bank digital currencies. The Bible says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. How many times we got to hear from these different people? How many different people saying the same thing? So this guy comes out of a room out of the EU. He says it just came out of negotiations about digital identity. And I have bad news. The member states of the European Parliament came to an agreement. That means that probably not far from now, the digital identity, which is what you need to be able to access your funds in the future, the digital identity will be in effect in the European Union. Right after this agreement, Commissioner said, now we have the digital identity wallet, so we have to put something in it, meaning they're coming to a digital currency. I hope you're listening. And this is a very bad development. They always promise us not to make this connection, and even a lot of experts, privacy experts, and security experts warned us last week that this is a very bad idea for our privacy and our freedom. And still, this digital identity stuff is getting pushed through. Now, you remember Shane Warren was told, this is back in 2012, that there would be dollars blowing worthless as leaves in the wind. And the thing right there that starts it is when they start buying oil in another currency. He said he saw silver, not gold, silver, begin to drastically increase in price. He said, I saw literally a war in American streets because they cut off all of the entitlements. Try to imagine if all of the checks from the government stopped going out, what do you think would happen? He said he saw it. The devaluation of the currency in America by buying oil and other currency caused America to basically fall apart. Again, I'll send you to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Digital Yuan CBDC used for the first time. This is October 24th, 2023. Well, actually, the agreement came into place August 24th of 2022. So the digital yuan has now been used for the first time to settle an oil transaction. That means this prophecy right here is now in process of being fulfillment. He saw it back in 2012. The digital yuan has been used for the first time to settle oil transactions. 1 million barrels of crude oil was sold October the 19th. Dollar's going away. It's going away. And if you have lots of them in the bank, I'll even say if you have lots of them underneath your mattress, it's paper. It's paper. It's paper. But you walk up with gold or silver or platinum or rhodium or something like that, and you got your tank of gas. You probably got some food. You might, with a gold coin, buy your way to safety or bribe your way to safety or buy yourself out of the country. Who knows? But if you have it all in a bank, it's risky. I can't tell you take it out. I can tell you that I try to keep as little in the bank as I possibly can. Of course, when you're in the ministry, that's all you have. It's just a little. So you never have to worry about having too much money if you're in the ministry. But on the other hand, thank you, Lord, he's the best boss. He's been very, very, very good to me. Anyway, I'll send you to cornerstoneassetmetals.com, josephkitchen.com, empshield.com. Use the promo code PROPHECY for EMP Shield, and you get a $50 discount. I don't want us to be in line begging for food. Instead, I want to be us in line giving out food. And so here's what I suggest you do. Go to Joseph's Kitchen. It's bread. I mean, I have bread for all of my breakfast and my lunch is a slice of bread. You want to go to Joseph's Kitchen. What you want to do is get this machine package right here. That's all of the gizmos you need to actually make the bread. Then the supplies are like this. Food for one person 1 year, 2 people a year, 4 people a year, 6 people a year. They're ready to ship it out right now. They've got all of this stuff. They're not out of anything. They can ship it to you. And there's videos and there's also recipes to show you how to make all kinds of bread recipes. I think I would call bread famine food. In the days of Joseph and the pyramids, 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine. And what was it that fed the year or the world for 7 years? And the answer, wheat. Wheat. And that's what Joseph's Kitchen sells. Wheat. Wheat is, there's not a perfect food. In other words, one food where a person could eat nothing but this food their whole life, but probably wheat comes the closest. So recommend you go to Joseph's Kitchen, get yourself stocked up. So what is an EMP Shield device? It's a device you can put on your car and your house that in an EMP attack is supposed to stop the attack. And if you go to empshield.com and if you use the promo code PROPHECY, they give you a $50 discount. They also have videos up there, shows you how to install it on your car and your house and everything, and it's not difficult at all. I've got one of them right here. Red goes to red, black goes to black, green goes to the car, body of your car, and you just peel it off the back, stick it under there. Got another device that goes on your house. So not complicated. Take you about 10 minutes to put them in. So empshield.com, promo code is PROPHECY. Terry Saka with CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. So what's going on in the world of finances? Why should they call today?
Well, China has laid out in a speech a few weeks ago exactly what they think of the United States. I haven't seen that in my 55 years. With China and Russia forming these reserve currencies, new reserve currency, we better be prepared because that dollar is going to be in deep trouble and we're going to need assets to protect us from it.
CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. Call them or go online, CornerstoneAssetMetals.com, or call them at 888-747-3309. 888-747-3309.